Hello and good morning, everyone in Australia. Good afternoon, anyone in America or any other place. It's usually in the afternoon when I do my interview guests in America, so it's usually afternoon for them when we're in the morning. But hi, I'm Susan Jane. Welcome to this week's intuitive flower reading. We are looking at doing these flower readings so you can see how your intuition is guiding you towards your emotional goals. So all you need to do is pick a number between 1 and 100 and you'll receive an intuitive flower reading. Now, I have a few booked up already that have added numbers to the program, so I will be doing theirs. But anyone live will get theirs first. So what is the moon doing? Now, I work by the moons because to start with, I'm doing flower readings, which obviously are, earth orientated. So we're looking at planting by the moons. And I used to own a 90-acre organic crop farm, and I did all my planting via the moon cycles. It gave me really good, healthy crops. And so I'm looking at these flower readings in the same sort of principle. If we're looking at our goals and if we're planting those goals, those seeds at the right time, then we're going to get a better success rate, a better understanding of our goals. So this week, we are still in the waning gibbous until, say, Thursday, Friday, maybe. What are we looking at? The last quarter starts on Friday. So we've still got this waning gibbous area, which is where the moonlight is still decreasing. The soil is absorbing everything, and all that energy is drawn down. So the area we're sowing at the moment is the root crops until Thursday, so we can plant our root crops, which is all about direction and being grounded. So when we're looking at the direction we're going with, what we want to do, we can start seeding those sort of goals. So directions until Thursday. Then after Thursday, we head into the last quarter. Now, the last quarter, which is the waning crescent, it's still, all the moonlight obviously is decreasing. It's still absorbing. It's still drawing down. But this time we're not sowing. So from Friday onwards, we are not sowing any seeds. We are not creating any goals. We can think about them, but we don't actually put them in place. So that's one thing that we need to be really mindful of. As this weekend, we will be looking more about self-love, about looking after who we are. So when we head into Thursday, we're looking at being self-reliable, which is continuously doing those things that are helping us on our direction, our meditation, our visualization, that sort of thing to help us on our direction. But after that, we go into the weekend, we head into more of that self-love area. So more about protection, accept, allow, and trust. So that's what we're sort of looking at when we head to the weekend. Time to relax and chill out. It's a quiet weekend this weekend. So time to give yourself some space. Now, again, if you want a flower reading, send a message. Just pick a number between 1 and 100 and I will give you a free flower reading. At this stage, I have got a couple of people already wanting flower readings, and I will jump straight into them. So the first one is Leah, and her number that she chose was 46. So here's Leah's image. I'll just bring it up so you can see it. Yeah, there we go. Share screen, and here is Leah's image. So she chose this image. I'll just bring it in front of me so I can see it. Okay, so when we're looking at flower readings with this image, it's very, very, it's a portrait format, so it's very individual, and yet we've got a couple of flowers. There's actually 3 flowers in this flower image. So Leah, when we're looking at being self-reliable, issues like that, what I'm seeing really strongly first up is we've got these leaves in front. Now, these leaves are obviously of a masculine nature because of the shape of them. They're also in the forefront of your goal. So and leaves are our guides. So these guides are very masculine. They're very in your face. They're very there. They're giving you advice and direction, but you are getting it from everywhere. You are actually quite swamped with leaves. You're getting them in the spiritual context at the back here. You're getting them in the physical context here. But these ones are right in front of you now. And these are the ones that are actually going to give you the advice that you need. So be open to getting that advice. Now, the advice that's coming to you is not necessarily from a man or from it's a masculine energy. So it's more of the way that these messages are delivered to you. For this week, you're going to get some very, very direct messages. They're very on point, very direct. I think I said that already, but very, how can I? They're very strong. Like when you think of a feminine message coming through, you're thinking of a nurturing and soft and gentle, and maybe you could do this, or maybe you could do. These are very, very direct messages, and the whole lot all week is about very direct messages, whether you're getting them from spirit or whether you're getting them from the physical realm. It's very on point for you, and it's very, I keep going direct because of the shape of those leaves are so pointed. It'll be like, well, you should just do this. It's very, very extreme. It's very to the point. And in fact, it's going to be so much to the point where you're going to sort of rebel a little bit about it. It's going to be more of a, really, is that how I've got to do it? You're going to sort of rebel a little bit with this. And that's okay. But take it on board and take on that guidance the way you want to take it on board. Often when we're having guidance, and I can see there's another one coming through here, you've already had a bit of a message and that's going into the past, but you've got these very distinct ones coming through. And it's almost like, when you hear something 3 times and you say, oh, okay, all right, well, now I'll do it. I remember when my children were young, I'd had my third child, and somebody said to me, and it happened 3 times really quickly in like a space of a week, that somebody said, oh, enjoy them while they're young, they grow up so quickly. And I heard it again, very similar contexts, very similar words. And then I heard it for the 3rd time, and I might have even heard it on the TV for the 3rd time. We didn't have internet in those days, but I remember hearing it in such a short time that we really needed to take notice of it. And I think that's how you're going to get these messages. So very strong with messages for you this week, Leah, and that's what you need to focus on. Okay, that's what's. Hey, Sal, how you going? Oh, we've got a Facebook user. Okay, so the person who's picked number 67, I can't see your name because you haven't given StreamYard permission, but that's okay because I can still do it. I'll just have to call you Facebook user. Sorry, that's a bit embarrassing. Okay, the first one I'll do now, I've done Leah's. I'll do Sal's, and hers is number 45. Oh, Sal, this is pretty. You're going to love this one. All right, come on. Okay, share a window, and this is the one you're getting, Sal. Is that coming on all right? Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so Sal, this is yours. And as I said, we've done the direction up until Thursday. We can look at direction goals. After Thursday, Friday onwards for the weekend, we're not picking any goals. It's not about goals. It's about self-love. It's about just taking care. So when we're looking at this planting, when I do the crop planting, the next week after, from Friday onwards for that week, I would not be planting anything. I would be thinking about them and getting an understanding of them, but not setting any goals, okay? So we don't set any goals from Friday onwards for the next week. But until Friday, we can set direction goals. Now, when we start to look at yours, Sal, I'm seeing, this is beautiful. This is the peonies. They're so pretty. What's coming forward for me? So is it more about picking a goal, or is it more about self-love? I'm thinking it's more about self-love. Okay, so what I'm seeing with this one, Sal, this is heading more to the weekend for you. So from Friday onwards, we're looking at this sort of image. And what I'm seeing for this one is I almost see you as this big goal, but you need to have like-minded people around you. Now, when we say like-minded people, this flower is coming from the one bush. Okay, so it's one bush, which is to me like a family group. When I see flowers like, say, tulips, and you see a field of flowers, they're more like-minded people. Whereas this one, because it's come from the same area, it's more like a bush. It's more like a family member. So I can see this weekend for your caring, for your protection, exception, allowing, trusting, for that self-love aspect of you. I can see you hanging around family members this weekend. Two very close ones, one towards the back. I see that as part of your self-love, your self-nurturing. You're more forward-thinking there. You're more in the advanced. It might be you that is actually creating this get-together, but something screaming out there to say you need to spend some time together. And I think with the pink, it's all about that love. It's all about that affection. It's all about that special time together, those special moments together. Now, although these are of the same family, because they are all the lovely peonies, it doesn't mean you're necessarily like-minded. You are obviously a lot more open in this image than what your other counterparts are, but they are growing, they are developing, and it is all part of you going forward and having this time together on the weekend. Have you got a party coming up? Have you got something going on? Because there's something happening over the weekend that you're all going to be together. I'm not sure what that is, but enjoy it. You're going to really love it, actually, and you're going to be standing out there and doing a lot more. It's almost like they're looking up to you for that guidance and that understanding, that they're just looking towards you to lead them wherever they need to go. Okay, so that's your Sal. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I love the peonies. Okay, so Facebook user is, hey, Kimberly, good morning. Now, Kimberly, did you put a number in, or is 67 your number? Because I'm going to be doing 67 next for the Facebook user. Last weekend you had a family visit, Sal. Something's coming up for you this weekend too. Maybe it was that. Maybe I'm just a week behind. All right. This is number 67. Let me bring this one forward. This is a beautiful picture too. Some of these are not mine because that is too small for my flower. So this is another flower I've got. Okay, so this is for, I'm sure it might be Kimberly. Hang on, Kimberly. 7. Okay, Kimberly. All right, so Facebook user number 67. This one's yours. Okay, so what we're looking at with yours, again, it's another portrait image. So it's all about the individual, and yet we have, again, a cluster of flowers coming up. Now, this cluster of flowers is coming up on the single stem, which shows us when you're looking at goals that the goals are just going to be coming through continuously as you're going on your path or your journey. But they're all going to be blossoming at once, even though you have got new ones coming through on either side. That's a completely another direction if you want to go somewhere else. But these ones are still coming through, so there's still more goals coming through. So when we're looking at heading into the weekend and self-love, again, I see this as a very, very close family resemblance here where you're all getting together. Do you have a few family members that are coming together that we're bringing together? It just feels like not so much of a party this time, but more of a hierarchy. We can see, this hierarchy as the flower is developing and growing. And of course, again, from the same family member, from the same stem, and yet there's others coming through too. So it could even be something like, if you've got your partner with you, you've got young family and someone else is pregnant or someone else is coming through. That could be that coming through there. Oops, sorry, there's lots of comments there. Shoot, I haven't been looking at the comments. I've been looking at the flowers. Thanks, Sal. Thanks, Kimberly. I'm going to do yours. And, for Melly. Okay, 42 for Melly. Okay, right. All right, so this one's still number 67 for the Facebook user. There was something else that just came through and I wanted to talk to you about that. About the self-love. So the first part is being self-reliable. Is that part of the family? The second part of this week is about self-love over the weekend. Look, I'm just picking up that these are more feminine in nature, okay? So I see these as more females or feminine in nature, and you just need to have that weekend if you've got a girls' weekend, but it could also mean, I would suggest, flat family. So have you got brothers? brothers. Have you got sisters? Or you could have brothers that are more on the feminine side that you're hanging around with and enjoying. That's really important for you this weekend, to chill out, relax, and enjoy some family time, especially in that feminine aspect as the nurturing side. You know, when you're just sitting around and having a laugh and having a nice time. You don't have to be doing anything active and big, just something enjoyable that really resonates with you. I can see you sort of sitting around on the couch and maybe having a glass of wine and just laughing and enjoying each other's company. That's what I see with that one for number 67. Okay, next one is number 42 this week. And again, this is a Facebook user and I can't see their name. So, because they've not given StreamYard permission, but that's okay. We don't need to see your name as long as you don't mind me calling you Facebook user. Oh, that's what they put up there. All right, this one's yours now. This one, you know, some people get a bit funny with this one, but I just love it because it has so much character to it. Look at this gorgeous little flower. And we all know it's a dandelion. We all know it's a weed. And yet look at it. It's just so beautiful. And like every flower, it has its purpose, it has its reasons, and it has its ability. But you know what the beautiful dandelion turns into, that lovely, we used to blow them and call them fairy wishes. So I can really see this one. I love the little dandelions. I think they're gorgeous. So this is number 42. Okay, so for the Facebook use, number 42. Again, looking at self-reliability, we're looking at self-love. So self-reliability till Thursday. And look, honestly, when you think of the dandelion, they are so self-reliable. They just pop up everywhere. I mean, well, they are a weed. So, but they pop up everywhere. So I'm sort of believing or feeling that when it comes to being reliable for you, it is you are doing the meditation, you are doing the visualization, you are connecting with your intuition, you are being reliable, you are relying on yourself to maintain those patterns and those behaviors to keep this goal happening. But that's for you, if you want that for your direction, that's perfect. For you to achieve your goal and follow your direction goal, yes, it's happening all over the place. It's all these messages, all these information is popping up. Follow it, really connect with your intuition and follow that. When we're looking at the self-love and the second part of the week, when we hit the last quarter of the moon, when we start to bring things back to us, it's all about self-love. We're not making goals. We can think about them, but we're not making the goals. We're looking at protecting ourselves. We're looking at accepting ourselves and trusting ourselves. And I see this beautiful flower. I see that with joy. When you've got that yellow, for me, yellow is joy. Then I see that for you. There's no reason why this weekend shouldn't be really, really enjoyable for you. And I can see the flower is looking up. It's not looking at us. The flower is looking up. So I see this quite a spiritual sort of an aspect. It's looking almost for advice from a higher source, advice from spirit, advice from somewhere else. And that's what you're looking at over the weekend. So when I look at that image and I take it back, I start to look at the strongest area there would be the mental aspect of accepting, okay? Accepting who you are and what you are and where you are, because we're all beautiful in our own way. And this weekend, I want you to really focus on how beautiful you are in your own way, because that's what's really, really relevant. People, you may feel that you're just a weed in a paddock, but you are beautiful. When we focus in, when we see the detail, we see the beauty of it, we know how beautiful you are in your own way. And that's what makes you shine. So that's for you. That's number 42. That's for you, Facebook user number 42. Sorry, I have to call you Facebook user. Okay, Kimberly, you're next, and you're number 7. Lovely to have you back, Kimberly. Oh, this is one of my favorite flowers. This is one of the first ones I took when I started to write my book, Intuitive Nature. Intuitive Flower Share Screen. Let's don't do two things at once. Intuitive Flowers, Empowering Your Emotional Goals, which is what this is all about. This was one of the first flowers pictures I took, and it's like a little orchid, but I just saw it as a gorgeous little face, and it's like a man with a mustache and the biggest smiling mouth, and that's sort of how I saw it. And every time I look at this image, it reminds me of the same thing. It just reminds me of somebody being out there and bright and bubbly, and here I am. So Kimberly, I'm thinking that might be your aspect to look at. Yeah, it is pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to look at again is up until Thursday, when we're still looking at our direction, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to say, this is what I want to do. This is where my direction is. And it doesn't matter whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. Just put it out there. Be proud of it. Be out there and wild and proud and happy to share it. By Friday, we need to tone it down. Now, for this flower, I'm not saying you need to tone it down, but you don't necessarily talk about direction. When you're looking at bright, bubbly and being out there, start to reflect it back inside and get an understanding of how you're feeling and where that's going. Still be there. You're still going to be, you could still be the life of the party this weekend, but you're also going to be a lot more mindful about how that's coming through and where that's coming through. So yes, you can be bright and bubbly, but you can also be very compassionate, very understanding. That's what I see with this one. And that's the mauve color, this beautiful mauvey purple color. It's that having that passion, that's that nurturing side that's coming through. So I know there can be people that are very extroverted and they can be out there and they can be saying their thing and they're doing their thing. And they can be almost, to get that attention, everything else, they can be belittling somebody else, or it can be done at the expense of somebody else. I don't see this with you. I see this as you being out there and you can be out there in the public, but I also see you doing that in a very gentle manner. If you're going to make a joke, the joke is going to be about you to help somebody else get it through an understanding. It's not going to be a joke about somebody else. And you're not going to be using other people to get the high that you want. So I really see this as very, very nurturing and there's somebody there that's watching you and they're getting a lot from you. They're getting a really clear understanding of how you're doing things. And they're looking up at you as a guidance, as a support. And they can really see that. They can see that you can be out there, but you're doing it in a controlled way and it's not hurting anyone else. They're getting a huge learning out of this, and it's important for you to be doing that. So it's important for you to say your piece. Even if you are an introvert, you can still say your piece, and someone is watching that and getting an understanding of that's how you do it. So that's a really good one for you, Kimberly. Get your direction. You need to have that understanding of your direction. Put it out there. Let us know what you're doing, what you anticipate to be doing the next 2 years. I want to know. Okay, that's yours, Kimberly. Thank you so much. Oh, on all your messages, Kimberly. Number 42 it's Mel. Okay, Mel is number 42. I've done Kimberly's 7. Oh, your sister's birthday sale. Okay, cool. Yes. All right. So number 42 for Miss Mel. Here it is. We had 42. Oh, I did. You did I? Oh, 42. So that's you, Mel. Okay, I didn't realize that was you. So you've got I have got the same one, haven't I? Beautiful. Okay. That was it. I think I've done. Okay, so Mel was number 42 and yours was the dandelion, which is beautiful. All right. Actually, that does suit you, Mel. Okay, now I'm with you. So the only one I've got left is Bex, and she couldn't decide between number 56 and number 65. So why does she have to make a decision? Let's pick both. That's what I'm going to do very quickly. Thanks, Kimberly. You have a wonderful day too. Number 56 I'm looking at first is, this is nice. I've got to stop saying that before I share, don't I? Okay, Bex, here's yours coming up. If you want a flower reading, all you need to do is pick a number between 1 and 100. intuitively, of course, and then we can do a flower reading. So, Bex, this is the first part. And I'm thinking with yours, because you had trouble deciding what number, I'm thinking that you've got a real different aspect between now and Thursday, which is still on the waning gibbous. And then from Friday onwards, we hit the last quarter, which is, so the first part's all about your direction, about an understanding of your direction goals. And then the second half is and about being self-reliable. When we look at direction goals, we're looking at being self-reliable on them, because if you want to get to if you want to get to that goal, you put that direction out, you need to be able to be doing these certain patterns of behaviors, like your visualization and meditation. We need to be putting those things in to be reliable, self-reliable, so we can achieve those goals. But the second half is all about self-love, and it's where we don't make goals. We can think about them, but we don't actually make the goals. We don't want to set any seeds from Friday onwards until next week. We don't want to set those seeds, because it's a time for self-love. It's time for self-nurturing. We're in the darker phase of the moon, and it's all about coming back to ourselves. So I'm guessing that because you had two there, we've got two very distinct areas for you, whereas the others are running through quite easily. So your first area here, this is your image, and this is all about your direction. And when we look at this, straight away, it's the water lily. And I can see that we know that the water lilies comes up from the depths of the mud through the water, which is emotions, before it can actually flower. So when we look in the direction for yours, I would suggest that your direction is going through that emotional aspect. So it may have started in the mud and it's heading through that, but it will achieve that. So your direction could feel a bit muddy. It could be a bit emotional. You don't know which way to go. You're not sure what direction to take. And you could be feeling a little bit disorientated with it all. You also got to realize too, your flower will not survive. Oh, I shouldn't say survive. Your flower will not stand up if it didn't have the water around it. You take away the water from that water lily, and the flower will just drop into the mud. So you need to have those emotions around you and that understanding around you for your direction. It's quite relevant for you. Now, those emotions that are around you are the ones that are actually going to be keeping your direction on track. And although you may go, I'm shitty and don't want to do that, it will keep everything on track. I know there's times there when I might look at Facebook, and you might be feeling a bit down, and you look at Facebook and you see everybody seems to be doing so well, and then you sit there and think, oh, bloody hell, why isn't mine doing any good? Why isn't my business doing any good? And you send yourself off on these emotional areas, different directions. You sort of, start to doubt and start to wonder. What I'm saying is those emotions that you're feeling are relevant. They're important for you to stay in control on that path and that direction to your goal. Okay, so up until Thursday, just acknowledge that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're going through is relevant for where you need to be. Yeah, you don't like it. Yeah, it might be shitty, but it's still relevant to where you need to be. The second part of your week is going to be 65. Whoops. This is the second part to your week. I'm not doing doubles each time, but it's fun, isn't it? Okay, so the second part of your week, which is more about the self-care, the self-nurturing side of things, and we have a look. We've got this lovely rose. Now, you may be having a little bit of trouble with self-love, a little bit of trouble with what part of it? Not the protection. You've got the protection there with the calyx. I would sort of say when we look at it, allowing the thorns. The thorns are about allowing. You're allowed to make mistakes, and maybe this is where you're having your issues there. Mistakes are there for us to learn from. We can't go through life without making the odd mistake here and there. So when we start to, over this weekend, when you starting to look at things start to pop up, and you may find that there's mistakes there, or you've done something that you could have done better, or you could have done differently, they're there for a reason. Now, when I look at this, we haven't got thorns, but we know that there's thorns on the rose. So what this is suggesting to me is that, yes, you feel like you're making mistakes, and yes, you may have made mistakes, but they're not relevant. If you nurture and love yourself over the weekend and give yourself that time to assess and look over some of those areas that you may have been able to do better, but don't be so hard on yourself, because this weekend, this goal here for the weekend, it is still in bud form. So you're still learning to allow yourself to make mistakes. You're still learning to accept yourself when you do make those sort of errors. And if you're anything like me, I know exactly how you feel, Bex, because I hate making mistakes. I've got this real aversion to it. And so I have to look at the learning side to it. What have I learned from it? What have I got the understanding? What am I going to do again? What can I do again? How can I do it differently? And I think that the next week after Friday for you, or Friday onwards for you, over this weekend, is about that understanding, about that learning, and about getting a bit more of an understanding of who you are, and allowing and accepting that, allowing yourself to make the mistakes and accepting that they're a great way to learn. And you don't do it deliberately. You're not doing it deliberately. You're doing it because you're feeling like it's the right thing to do at that time. So I hope that helps, Bex. You had the double whammy there. And it's looks like a bit of a tough week for you, but you're going to get there. The weekend will be nice. You're just going to chill back, enjoy it, and let it go through. So that's it, Kimberly. Thank you for joining me. Thanks, Mel, for joining me, and Sally. I really appreciate your support. I have got a intuitive flower readings workshop coming up on the Gold Coast, and that will have where you actually draw your flower. Well, I'm not allowed to tell you that you draw a flower because that's the secret part. But anyway, no one else will know. You draw your own flower, and then we do a reading on it. So you paint your own flower, and then we do a reading on it. So it's a sip and paint, intuitive sip and paint. The first time open to public on the Gold Coast. I have done a public one further north before, and mainly just doing private events. So this is the first public one. So it's going to be really fun. Jump onto that. And if you want your own flower reading, you can get one, and you get it in video, you get it in a written format, and the link is in the description. So you've got it all there. That's me for today. I hope you've had a great day. Or hope you have a great day, I should say. And if you do want your own personal flower reading, like I said, the link's in there. We can go from there. Podcast coming out this week. Podcast coming out this week is from Coach Lee Hopkins, and he is a transgender male. And it was a great interview. I really enjoyed the interview with him. Yeah, it was really interesting. You'll enjoy that, and the way he looks at things, and how he created a tribe, what he called his tribe. He said, ditch the tribe and go with the vibe. He had a tribe, the people that he thought were like him, but they ended up being not like him. And so he had to ditch that tribe and actually find and really connect with his vibe, with who he was. And then the people around him started to show, the right people started to show. It was a really good interview. You'll have to get that. It's on Thursday at 9:00. It comes out on all video podcast areas. No, not video podcast areas plus videos. All right, that's me for now. Have a great week, and I will catch up with you next week. Don't forget to pop in and say hi. Okay, bye.